Now I know.
But that doesn't sound like Aaron.
No, it didn't. It didn't quite sound like Aaron. Well, let me introduce everybody. So Frank's here. We've got Leslie here. This is going to be recorded. Oh, there's Aaron. Hi, Aaron. This is recorded. So we're going to drop this in the Facebook break room and we can put it on there a couple times this week so that people will see it.
Okay.
But guys, I don't know if you know these two people, but they have been a part of my real estate career for I knew back in new construction days. So it's been like 16 years with Diana.
Yeah. Well, you age us. We started when we were like 15 years old. Okay.
Yeah, it was a long time. And
True
then
story.
for you, what, like 8 years?
I mean, I've been
Since
with her
2010.
for 11 years. So
Yeah, so there you go. So I'll let you guys introduce yourself. Amanda,
Okay.
Diana, with First Coast Mortgage Funding, our newest preferred lender. And actually, let me explain why they are our newest preferred lender, because I think this is important for you guys to know why I reached out to you.
Yes.
Is because, first of all, at Roundtable Realty, we have a different philosophy on preferred anythings. Okay. I know a lot of brokerages out there or builders out there will have one of something and get some sort of kickback or something like that. And to me, that's not right. That I should be providing my clients and through my family of agents, their clients and customers, the best options for them.
Right.
It's not about me getting a kickback
right.
or any of that. And so we've always had that philosophy, and that's why we've always had multiple preferred lenders. And whenever somebody says, well, which one do you pick? Well, call them all. I don't care. Pick the best one that clicks with you, that resonates with you. And it allows us to stand true to what we believe in, which is we want to do what's right for them. And so because I've known Diana for forever, and literally was one of the first lenders to teach me the ropes of new construction when I was working for Watson Home Builders.
That's how we do it.
Right? You
Yes.
remember that? Watson
Whoa.
Home Builders.
So long.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
long time ago.
And then Amanda for a long period of time, even when you were up in Nassau County and you were
Mhm.
helping her, that when you guys all got to this different place and, with Delaney and with George and with Jason and Aaron and all of these really kind of rock star people, I was like, well, how do we not have them as a preferred lender? They should be a preferred lender. I mean, if by not having you in the mix, I feel like we'd be doing a disservice to our pool of clients and customers that are out there. So I literally reached out to them and was like, okay, what do we got to do?
Yeah.
And it was really quick. I think it was a 5-minute conversation. And okay. And there you go. So that is why I believe they have to be in the mix. They have to be able to provide your clients with an option with the service that they give. I think, and this is my opinion, I've said I'm transparent about it.
Mhm.
I think she's the best loan officer I've ever worked with.
Aw,
Okay,
thank you.
ever. Doesn't mean she's gotten every deal done, but she has proven to me time and again on the hardest deals. Frank had an insane deal once. Remember that?
Yes.
Frank had an
Frank,
insane
yes.
deal that, no offense to Amanda, but I think you were newer in the business at that
I don't
time.
even know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And Amanda was like, I don't know. And I was like, well, let's call Diana. And we called Diana, and Diana somehow over a weekend, literally, I think I called you on a Saturday morning with you on the phone. I think it was a 3-way call. You don't even remember?
No, I do.
No,
Okay.
you
I
did.
do.
Frank was,
And-
Frank is very persistent.
and
Yeah, we have to get this done.
And somehow, like I think from Saturday morning to Tuesday, it had somehow we got worried. I don't remember the exact details, but that's the sort of thing that you get with this group of loan officers and leadership, and so I wanted them to be a part of our roundtable family. Kind of always have been,
Mhm.
but now under
Now
this
officially.
new umbrella, new
Back
banner.
under one roof.
Yep.
Yes.
So I'll let you guys talk a little bit about the transition, your resumes, the products you have, things you're seeing, and then answer any questions that Frank or Jillian or anyone else who pops in or out might have.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Floor is yours.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so I could start, I guess. Diana Tarzia, for those of you who do not know me. Like Howard said, I've been in the business now for 16 years. So I met Howard when I was just a little baby. But, through my time in the business, my career has transitioned to lots of different opportunities for me. So my most recent opportunity, I left and I took the summer off and I kind of dove really deep into what I'm most passionate about. And I came to the realization that I just love to be at the closing table with my borrowers that I've helped to, realize the dream of homeownership, quite frankly. So I went back and I was in a leadership position and I decided to originate, and that's kind of where I'm at. And that's how we came about choosing First Coast Mortgage. So do you want to talk about your background?
Sure. Amanda Solari here, and my I guess resume is it's similar, but I actually started in processing. So I was Diana's processor when she came on board to originate for the company that I was at, and she actually led me over to the origination side, and we transitioned together over to the last company that we were at. And I also moved into a management role and made pins of and
yes, that was a fun drive. Sorry to interrupt.
And I also, made the decision that I wanted to go back to what was giving me passion, and that was being able to work with the customers and with, the real estate agents and, coming together for that goal of home ownership versus at the, management level. So I'm super excited about being back at full-time originating. It's all about the customers. It's all about our referral partners. And I'm like super excited about it. So.
And Delaney,
Where'd you come from?
Yeah, so I live in a new construction neighborhood, Beacon Lake. I know a lot of y'all sell it, and they're putting lights up. So they decided to do a whole detour today.
Okay.
So it was a little bit stressful, and I drove here on 1 mile in my gas tank.
Okay.
So if anybody's wondering if a 4Runner can make it 20 miles, it can.
Okay, there you go. So Delaney is on
our
part of the family. Are you guys a team? Like, how's it working?
No, we're all individual loan
Okay, but you're
officers
part,
right now.
but you're helping each other out, your support
Correct.
system, much like
Yes.
us here.
Yes.
Everybody's kind of their own realtor, but we're all like Jen Kespel, who I think
Mhm.
Jen Kespel. She just had surgery again on her leg, which is a very interesting story because she had surgery on her leg one time and we went to visit her in the hospital. And she's like, I'm so good. I just had surgery. Everything's great. And I'm standing in front of it. I said, is your foot supposed to be pointed that way?
Oh, no.
And it was not correctly done. So they had to redo it and then they had to redo it again. So anyway, she needed help showing houses and people started jumping in to help show houses. So that's cool. Delaney, how long have you been doing?
I've been in mortgages since 2015, but been originating since 2017. And I moved over to the broker side at First Coast in September of last year.
Were you one of the first ones?
I
to
was.
do
I was
that?
the first loan
She
officer
was.
that came over. So I
Wow.
took a plunge on the broker side, and I'm sure I wasn't here, but I'm sure you guys said amazing
Well,
things.
yeah, if you could talk about First Coast Mortgage then, because we haven't got there yet, that'd be very
There
good.
you go.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So on First Coast Mortgage Funding, on the broker side, and what we do things, and it's kind of cheesy sounding, but faster, easier, and more affordable. And when I was looking at not only First Coast in comparison to other retail options, when I was looking to kind of make a move, I also compared First Coast to other brokers because there are some amazing brokers that many of you may use already. But I was like, I just felt this vibe, this family vibe. And First Coast, I feel like we have our processes down pat. And from a broker standpoint, the support system that we have with our operations is not like most brokers. So we have the ability to do things faster, approvals in 2 hours. Like I had one today.
It's crazy.
And
Who
we've
do you
all,
call for approval?
There's
Is it like an
different lenders.
underwriter
There's a
or-
bunch
oh,
of different
so
lenders that we
UWM or
use. Yeah,
whatever that is.
UWM.
UWM is at like 2 hours.
2
on
hours,
approvals, which
yeah.
is pretty amazing. We saw Delaney have a lot of success with First Coast Mortgage, and we also work with Jason and Aaron, who are the broker owners. And so through that kind of solidified our decision,
Yeah.
where are we going to go? We wanted to get back into originating and what's going to be the best home to provide the best programs and products at the lowest interest rate and really be able to deliver for our borrowers. And the proof was in the pudding with Delaney. She's been crushing it. And, with Jason and Aaron. And so it was just only natural for us to go ahead and join the team because like you said, it is like a family. I mean, we've all
Yeah.
been together. Delaney was with us.
It's like the band's all back together.
that's what every realtor's like, the band's back together. Some at Roundtable texted me and they're like, I see my girls are back together. So
And I
I'm
call
excited to
them
be
my
back.
little gingers. So I just like,
Gingers.
back with my little gingers, but we're really excited to be back together. We also feed off of each other. So when you work with a talented bunch of like loan officers, you kind of get some of their ideas on how to help our realtor partners grow their business. And we kind of like sponge off of each other. And through that, I feel like it makes us all better loan officers.
We do the same thing.
Yeah.
When with our realtors in our Facebook break room, people just eventually post something in there and it's incredible the stuff they get. Or in here, Anya will be talking about a listing and Jen K will say, hey, can you, or let me show you what I do for my listing. And like, it's
what's
just,
working, what's not
yeah,
working.
absolutely,
Yeah.
totally. So that's great.
It's like
that
a
you guys are doing
win-win
that.
for everybody. And we actually truly care about each other too, which is always awesome to care about the people that you're working with.
So I wrote down here your products. What are some of the products that you guys are doing special, but then also a little bit about you guys in regards to with these products, it allows you to be more available, but that's really, I think you guys are probably super available on the weekends,
Too
things
much
like that, right?
we don't answer the phone when we're using the restroom. That's about it.
But what are some of the unique products that you guys can do right now?
Do y'all,
I was gonna
We haven't
say
talked at all.
everything that I've been approached with, we've been able to tackle, which was mobile home, the renovation loans.
Construction?
Construction to
perm.
perm loans, but Delaney, since she's been there, has far more experience as far as.
so one thing is like, one thing I would never want as a real estate agent is like, oh, hey, go apply with this person, but then it's a unique situation. So then you have to go and, oh, well, they don't have it. So go apply here. Well, they don't have it. So the beauty of being a broker is we have 30 different lenders that all have their own spread of options, where if you go retail, it's like conventional, blah, blah, blah. So there's so many options. Some of the ones that I have been surprised by since I've moved over are the bank statement loans, which is a huge topic for self-employed buyers, meaning that we use the bank statements to calculate income instead of the tax returns. So
And
that
those can't be faked, right?
no,
It's not possible, right?
well, you know,
There's sneaky people out there,
But they get
yeah.
caught, right? I mean,
Most of them do. If it's looks and appears fraudulent, there's like a group on the back end that checks that kind of
but
stuff.
a lot of people, you know, you put that you make this much, you write off your expenses, you make 20,000. And so when you go to get a mortgage, it's like, no, I actually make 100K. So we
Right.
have a solution for those people who didn't realize maybe writing off those things would have an effect on being able to purchase a home in the immediate future. So that's a really cool product. The mobile homes are so easy. That's not like something I'm like, yay, mobile
Yeah, we
homes.
actually
Let's
will
do a
do
bunch
them.
of mobile
well,
homes.
I got news for you, but the mobile homes right now, because the land they sit on,
They're
they're
coming
like
back, right?
300,000 for a mobile home.
You
They're
had
great.
one that I was like, why does she want a mobile home? And you're like, she just wants one, and you showed it to me.
She wanted the lower property taxes. She wanted to be out on the land, out in the middle of nowhere. It was a newer home, but it was so easy. I was expecting like this long list of like, you can't have this, you can't have this, you can't have this. And it was like, I was blown away. Yeah, it was easy.
The only other thing that is really big is jumbo loans. So if anybody's ever done a jumbo loan, there's like extra requirements. So you have to go through your normal conventional requirements. And then it's like, bam, you need this many extra months of bank statements, this, they follow, a lot of our lenders follow exact conventional. It's the same pricing, which is
Wow.
huge. So if you
Yeah.
have somebody that's looking at a retail like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and they're a high dollar client, that might just be comfortability for them. Like, oh, I'm just going to go to
Like
Merrill
them
Lynch.
already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the difference in rates is crazy. And when you're talking like 800,000, that's like
Yeah, it's a big
$400.
Yeah.
And to her point on two of the things she said, so jumbo, I did my first jumbo in the longest time when I came over. It was like my first loan, but I got it cleared to close in 10 days. I mean, that's like unheard of when you're at a retail mortgage shop, because you're going through, you know, consecutive underwrites to get that approved.
Second level reviews.
Yeah, and then you second level, then you need all this other stuff. And then the other thing that she said that I found awesome is the self-employed stuff. So, you know, last year was a really difficult year for self-employed borrowers. You know, COVID, it really impacted their businesses. So their income, you know, might have suffered from that. And so when you have these kind of programs that allow for, you know, 1 year self-employed, or just to use the previous, you know, 2020, 2021 or bank statements, you know, it opens up a broader array of things that we can offer to these buyers that did suffer and have you know, issues in 2020 with their income. So I thought that was kind of cool, because I had someone and we send the loan in and they calculate the income for us, and then we can let you know within the same day what they can be pre-approved for.
And it was super fast.
super fast.
Super fast.
And the
So
thing
you're
I
not
wanna-
waiting.
And
Yeah.
the thing I want to add is, as long as I've known you guys, you're the most creative bunch there is. And here's what I mean. There's nothing that frustrates me more than if I send a client to someone and they call me back and they go, we can't approve. And then I send them someone else, and they're like, no, we can approve them. You just have to do these two things.
Yeah.
And then we're good. And I'm always like, why didn't the first person do that? Maybe they didn't know, maybe they didn't have time, whatever. But I've always felt like when I handed a client off to you, not only were they going to get great service and treated right, but I felt like even if there was like a stumble or there was something that would be better if you went this way, I always felt like you gave that to them. It wasn't something you like hid, oh, I'll make more money if I give them this product instead of that product. You always did that. And I assume you're going to continue to do that
Yeah.
as
Yes,
well.
we are not lazy. And all of us actually built our businesses doing loans that everybody said no to.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how we got into it. That's kind of how I got into new construction. And then she was on my team and then she was, and they are all super experienced now in doing all the loans that everybody says no to. And then of course they want to do the loans that are easier
Easier.
too.
Right.
But they're so creative, all three of us. And we do really work hard to make sure that we're putting the right program with the borrower that makes the most sense.
And that's
for them.
part of the service you're going to provide to my real estate family here is that you assure me that when one of my gang, who I love, sends you a client, you're going to take absolute 100% care of them. If it's not the right product, you're going to tell them, here's a better product. If they can't get a loan, you're going to tell them, right? Nothing worse. Well, I already said something that was nothing worse.
Right.
So the second nothing
worse.
nothing worse then is when somebody can't get a loan and you drag them out
Yes.
for 45
Oh,
days,
God,
past
yeah.
their financing contingency. And in the end, they couldn't get a loan to begin with. And somebody later goes, how did they not know that
To begin with.
to begin with?
Yeah.
Drives me crazy.
Drives us nuts too.
So I will.
Especially when we were in
Yeah.
management positions and we would have that happen to borrowers. It was horrible.
And I will say one of the things, because we both originally learned under Diana, who, like she said, that's how she built her business, is to really respect the buyer that comes to you that may not have everything quite together yet, and share with them, this is what you need to do to get there.
It's huge.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest things that all three of us do like to do. If they need credit repair, if they need 6 more months, if they need to season their assets, whatever it is they need to do, to tell them we can't today, but if you do A, B, and C within this amount of time, you can get there.
Mhm.
Because I mean, I just feel so bad if somebody comes and says, oh, well, this person told me I can't do anything. Did they tell you anything? No. I had a lady the other day. She's like, everybody's been so mean to me. And I'm like, why? There's just a few things you have to do within a few months, then you can buy.
Well, that's why I see Jillian on here. We had one a couple months ago, and long story very short, she had
Wow.
been, oh, did she
Hey,
say?
hold on.
Why are we singing
Oh,
that?
Nobody loves it. It's in my head.
Mute yourself.
Uh-oh. I'm
Oh.
singing.
Uh-oh.
But no, one I just had with Jillian, she was told,
Baby.
So it looked
Still
funny.
singing.
Somebody came in singing it, and so I sang it along.
Hey, y'all.
I don't ever let anybody sing alone.
She's the best. I know.
she just cracks me up. We just had one that like literally she said, well, my husband just passed. I need to buy this house, but I don't have basically any money. She just had like disability.
Mhm.
And she was told no by 2 other lenders that were her choice. And finally, Jillian was like, just talk, like maybe this is another option. She talked to me and I said, whoa, you got a settle, like a money.
yeah.
Let's turn those assets to income, like literally. And she was under like somebody who literally doesn't think they can buy to being a homeowner.
Yeah.
That is like what gives us, I can
That's-
see.
yeah.
That's the tears and the.
That's our
feels
why,
and-
to
Well,
be
yeah.
do you
Yeah.
remember when I first met you, I was selling in a neighborhood for Watson Home Builders. Now you got to tell you a story. I moved here to be a police officer. Okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
used to be the famous actor.
No, that's why I moved out to LA to try and cut my teeth.
Like that wasn't big dreams to me.
And I was like, I don't want to do that, but I love taking care of people. I want to make
Oh.
people feel great. I want to protect all of those things. I believe in ethics and morals and black and white stuff and, right and wrong.
Right.
And I moved back here to be a police officer. My dad was in real estate. He said, you got to get into real estate. And I was like, I don't know if that's going to fulfill me. Like what I think being a police officer might be like. When I was selling in a neighborhood up in Nassau County called Page Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, do you remember Page Hill?
Yes.
I used to call it Page Hell because it was an hour and a half drive for me to get there. No, it's about an hour.
You're like,
But anyway,
"God."
but I was cutting my teeth, and the first person who closed on a home up there, I remember standing in the garage. It was just before school season started, August or whatever, and the mom was crying in the garage because she never dreamed she was going to get her kids into a good school and own a home and all that sort of stuff. I said, this is it.
Yeah.
This is why I'm here.
Yeah.
And so now fast forward however many years later,
They just need
And,
to put that so that we can just have like those little adrenaline rushes all the time. Like when you're having a rough day, just be like, that woman in the garage, that woman in the garage. You gotta sometimes remind yourself too.
That's right.
That's why
Yeah.
we do
So,
it.
so I get it. I totally understand. So for this gang of people, you're gonna provide that kind of service. You're gonna be available, not 24/7 per se, but you guys are always readily
very
available for them to get their pre-approvals and all that sort of stuff. What are some of the expectations that they should expect of you guys when they reach out?
Well, for one, it's not rocket science. We're gonna answer our phone, right?
It's her favorite phrase. by
That's
the
one of
way.
our things. That's,
Zero
everybody,
skill for real.
zero skill.
Uh-huh.
We are going to be accessible to the borrower and to you guys. So we are gonna communicate. We're gonna communicate with your borrower. We're gonna give you an update on.
And
on the
educate.
customer. And educate, like you said, we are certainly gonna make sure that we're diving deep into the borrower's profile and making sure that they understand all their options so that when they make the choice and the decision, it's one that
Mhm.
serves them the best. What else would you say we would?
For the gang, what are you gonna do for them?
Well, I think it's also important that for us to adjust to what you want too. I mean, there are some agents that they want a daily update. There are some that are like, it's yours, just tell me, how it, like, we want to do whatever's best
So
for
as you build a
you.
relationship up
Yeah.
with them, perhaps you even call on some of these agents to go get a coffee, build a relationship with them. You want to learn what their style is like.
Exactly,
And then you try and
exactly.
be a part of their team, their support staff for them and their clients.
I mean, this whole business is built on relationship building anyway, and trusting people. And there are some agents here that they know everything about my life. They're probably like, oh gosh, a little too much, especially Aaron. But I love that part of it, and just being, a
True
team,
partners.
a team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a team.
yeah.
Well, tell me some of the things you guys are seeing in the marketplace right now, like currently, like in the last 30 days. Have you seen any changes or anything that's been a little different?
Really weird.
Rates have gone up a little.
Rates have gone up a little.
Mhm.
Okay.
But still low.
Well, what we're
low.
seeing is a little bit of a plateau in the amount of homes that are coming to market. So it's not dropping because that was a big problem, inventory. Right now it's kind of flat. We'd like it to go up and see
Yeah.
more inventory, but we're not seeing that yet. But we think that it's kind of flattened out now. If we don't get a lot more inventory between now and February, the spring is going to be pretty insane
Yeah.
again. But when it comes to rates and products, and I think did the conventional loan limit just went up?
Yes.
Yeah, so that went up to 625,000, which is a game changer. Because right now, especially where we're at, like this area, I
Mhm.
mean, everybody knows like that is really where you can find these houses. So you want to put 5% down, and that might not be available in a jumbo, but now you're back in normal.
Conforming loan limits, yeah.
It's
That's great.
One
What did it
thing
go
that
up
I'm seeing-
from? 5 something?
548, 250.
So it went up 100 grand.
Yeah.
Just about, yeah.
Wow.
They were like,
Hopefully the
well,
FHA loan limit goes up too.
Yeah.
those underwriters were like, we're done with these jumbo loans. Let's just raise this.
Yeah. But one thing I'd also noticed, and I'll be curious to see how it plays out over the next couple months, but I've had 2 borrowers that want to refinance. They're just coming out of the COVID forbearance. So what that allowed was borrowers or buyers, homeowners, mortgagees, to prolong their payments and be in forbearance. And so they added like
And the
lump sum.
forbearance is not keeping them from getting a refi?
Well, you have to make 3
3.
payments.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
3
when you
payments.
come out of forbearance, you just have to make
3.
3 payments and you're
Right.
golden.
And you can refi. But now some of them are thinking like they want to actually sell their houses. So they haven't been making payments for like a year. I think that's how long the forbearance was.
Well, do they
maybe
need to
18
make
months.
3 payments before selling?
They don't have to sell. They can sell at any
But
point.
would they then
Just
be able-
simultaneous is where the
Yeah.
only thing that I had somebody like that, like they have to sell it to get the money, because you can pay it in one lump sum. It's the back that you owe, but we'd have to show that to the underwriter and get clear to close that day, maybe close the next day.
Okay.
So getting it like
Yeah.
right back to back might be
Is
a little
hard.
tough, but a day in between.
But they would have to pay for what they forbeared.
Yes.
Forbear,
And it gets added
yes.
on to the,
Payoff,
The
so to
payoff,
speak.
And it would
Yeah.
only be like 3 or 4 months.
well, some people have 18 months that they've been in forbearance.
So would they have to pay the 18 months?
Yeah,
closing?
and it, like mine, it says it on the actual mortgage statement, they owe like $50,000 or something like
It just
insane.
comes out of their equity.
But odds
Another
are they've got
equity.
the equity,
Yeah.
so.
But I'm wondering if this is gonna stimulate, because these are people that haven't really had to pay. And now they're starting to realize that there's a lot of equity in their home. So I'm wondering if the supply of those homeowners start to enter the market. I'd be curious to see how that plays out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's,
Very
look, that's a
interesting.
great tidbit that
Yeah.
we just learned.
So,
Did- So does anybody have any questions at all? Frank and Jillian, you're our visitors today, or Leslie, she's in the back here. I asked a couple. Otherwise, what we'll have to do is, Frank.
Frank.
Yeah, sure. Just a couple quick questions, and thanks again, ladies. Everybody looks lovely.
Hey.
And it's it's not about the fee itself, of course. It's about the service behind it. But what's your processing fees?
Well, like Delaney, I think, and Amanda mentioned, we have 31 different lending options that we can go to. So each one of those lenders have their own fee, but it's around $1,000 to $1,100 each one of their fees. And that's the only fee that we charge. And then we charge whatever the appraisal fee is. And these appraisers right now, depending on how quickly you need them, run between $550 and $750. And they kind of are creating somewhat of a monopoly right now because we need them so badly. And then they think 10 days is like a rush. So they'll say, well, we'll give it to you in 10 days, but you have to pay me $750. And we say, okay, because we need the appraisal. But other than that, between $1,000 and $1,100.
Well, how are you guys making money?
On the loan.
Okay, so
Yeah.
on the rate, secondary markets.
Well, and I was gonna say, knowing like whenever I talk to a client, my first kind of thing to them, which is legitimate, but now I kind of always say it, is nobody teaches this stuff. Like nobody knows anything about this. We're all just supposed to magically know how to get a mortgage. So let's break it down. And anytime I'm talking and you have a question, I want you to interrupt me because this isn't a meal at McDonald's. This is like a legit purchase.
Yeah.
So getting to know what their goals are, because you can roll that underwriting fee into the pricing of the loan. And that generically just means that, let's say I talk to a buyer and they're very fee oriented. They're like, we don't want any origination fees at all. So then it becomes, do we just need to waive it completely? Are they okay with the rate? Can we put it in there? So there's a lot of creative options, but having those conversations up front, and that could be something with each agent that you speak with. Like with Frank, it might be, hey, I really don't want any origination fees. That could be something that is a little nugget that we tell our clients.
Yeah.
So those are things that we can build upon.
But nothing's free. It's just gonna go in the rate.
Agreed. There's really nothing free. And I think that that's what you kind of learn with new construction too. They say, go to our lender. Well, your lender that is paying the closing costs, therefore your interest rate's a lot higher. So that's actually going to be something I wanted to bring up too, because Frank, you're talking about fees and stuff. So I just did a deal for Pulte. Pulte was paying $10,000 in closing costs, but the mortgage company was like blowing off the client. He was super upset. The realtor was upset. We still got to get it closed in 10 days. So my interest rate on a government loan was 1/2 point better than Pulte's mortgage company.
And they probably still gave
So-
you the 10 grand.
and They did, they gave us half.
Okay,
But
fine.
I was
But you
able
tried to give
to
it.
raise the rate by 1/4, pay the other $5,000. So now he still got his $10,000
And it's
and he's a quarter
point
point lower
cheaper.
in interest.
And you
rate.
close on time.
And we closed in 10 days. So, and the customer's super happy now because they've been stringing them along for like 9 months while they built the house. And, they were just like saying all these things. So think of us on new construction. I know that they want to push you to their lenders, and some of their lenders do a great job. And some of them actually don't raise the interest rates, but the majority of them do. And especially with our government interest rates, we're about 1/2 point lower than any retail mortgage company out there. So that 1/2 point could allow us to, build in a lot of those concessions, especially with the builders that aren't really even paying that much. We can pay it and still deliver for you, your borrowers. It's going to close, and your borrower's probably going to get a lower interest rate. So think of us on those kind of instances, because I truly think we're winning builder deals across every builder.
Another thing that
every
has
builder.
come up a lot on new construction that I've seen too is there's a couple of the companies that are doing the long-term rate lock, and they're doing that charge up front to have the long-term rate lock. Well, we got one the other day where we priced it. We are 1/2 point lower, giving lender credits and on a 6-month rate lock.
Right, left. Yeah,
So it
pretty
was
cool.
just overall a better deal for
But
them.
Frank, when you say like the process, do you mean like if you send a client, like what does that look like as far as like what updates you can receive, turn times, like, because I can kind of answer that for you based off what you're looking for.
Yeah, no, I was just keeping it simple with the processing fee for starters, but it also, brokering out a loan for some has become a concern because of the potential lack of accountability, as opposed to going directly to, I guess it's, what is it referred to as, a retail lender when they process their own loan, so on and so forth, as opposed to broker it out where, once again, the concern might be, well, I'm relying on them to provide me the information, and I just don't have the same control or leverage that I would have if it was my own.
That is one of the things that I personally was very nervous
Mhm.
about looking at those options when I like moved over. One thing I will say is that's kind of part of my initial talk with the conversation, talking to myself with the client is basically, you know, on a broker side, everything is still my team. You will not talk to anybody else. I'm handling everything front to back, left to right. The only difference, because I asked them, do you know what the difference between a broker is? People don't know this stuff. When did we learn this stuff? You know what I mean? So really just educating, having that confidence in them, but just saying that the only difference is the back office, the underwriters at the retail center that they're already in California for the company that they're attached to. They're still in California. They're just working for a different company. So nothing is different on the process, on the updates. Everything is exactly the same. And
One point of contact.
one point of contact, and then they are like, oh, that makes so much more sense. And I kind of compare it to, there's a lot of like brokering type businesses, and I kind of
Well,
relate
we're
it.
one of them, right?
Yeah.
There you
At
go.
the end of the day, I mean,
Yeah.
Frank is the point of contact for someone when there's all these other things that are going on, title companies, inspectors, lenders, all these things. And Frank, you know, part of our job, and one of the things we actually are fighting to prove in this day and age is that Frank and myself and Jillian and all of these agents, Leslie included, we are valuable.
Mhm.
And that point of contact is important. And there are brokerages, we're talking about, there are brokerages out there right now that want to educate the public that we aren't
Yeah.
needed, that we're not necessary, and that we're not worth it.
Mhm.
And so I think similarly, Frank, you can have brokers who are not good. We've all experienced them, okay? We have all experienced them. They don't answer the
Yeah,
phone call.
yeah.
You can't reach them and you're left holding the bag. And I would say after 20 years of working with these guys, I can't imagine that happening. I just can't.
But I do know what Frank's saying. So, and it happens, Frank, when you work for the retail mortgage companies too. You basically say, well, I'm waiting on the underwriter, or I'm waiting on the processor to do their job, or the appraiser's still not here. There's so many ways that you can always throw blame on anybody else. But I think with us three, we're going to own it. Like, we're going to communicate up front. We're going to set those expectations up front. If it's a lender that we're not as familiar with, because
We're
we're
gonna
doing like
say
a
that up
foreign
front.
national, we're going to say, we're not as familiar, but you're still going to, I'm still going to give you just as much updates. I'm going to communicate throughout the process. And, you know, you're going to know, but we have, what do you call them? Like reps for each lender.
That's what I was gonna
And
say,
they're
yeah.
so invested in getting our business because that's how they make money. So their service, I have been so impressed by their service. They answer every freaking phone call. They get
You
back
email
to
and you
me.
get a phone call
Yeah.
within like 10 minutes. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you already answered the question.
Yeah, the reps are insanely amazing. Like I have to
See,
say,
that's exactly, that's what I wanted to hear.
They want
That,
our
that's what I wanted to hear. So one last question on my part, and again, thanks a lot. Are you guys able, or it depends on the loan type, or it depends on who is going to be doing the loan? Are y'all doing loan approvals as opposed to pre-quals? In other words, underwriting their documents in advance, because that's really important to us in today's environment, because we're dealing with so many cash offers out there. We need to have something that helps us level that playing field for somebody who's getting a loan.
yeah, we're doing both. So we can set a pre-qual immediately, but then we ask, technology is amazing right now, Frank. So what the application, they go online, they apply online, we get the notification immediately. We start working on it. At the same time that they just applied and we're working on it, they're uploading the documents that the automatic underwriting is asking them for. So usually it's pay stubs, bank statements, and W-2s. At that point, we pull those and we truly pre-approve them. We've already looked at income and assets, and this happens very
And you
quickly.
pull credit.
And we pull credit.
Well, and there's a new item
bulk.
that just got rolled
Mhm.
out where, like, let's say you have a buyer out there house hunting, we can get an actual like full underwriting loan approval, the same as if it's a
A
buyer
loan commitment.
loan
yeah.
commitment, and send that. So then that can be on a TBD property, and those are guaranteed within like 8 hours. So obviously the buyer has to have,
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Okay,
it
you
just
think-
rolled out. It's like this
called Bolt.
new, yeah.
That's fast. But basically, yeah, you're pre-approved, they upload their documents, and then literally that can be submitted to the lender, an actual underwriter, and they are giving a full loan approval.
Now, it's not overnight, it's 8 business hours.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
just wanted, because so if
But
you
they
submit
work-
something at
They
like
work at
8
in the
o'clock
morning
at
till
night,
8
I
a.m.
I'm not
mean-
gonna get a pre-approval
Oh,
at
no.
4 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
No, like, yeah, 8 hours. So like at night you get it in the
Yeah.
morning, but then
Within a day.
yeah, you get that
basically.
with your offers and it's not just like, it's been pre-underwritten. Like if
Yeah.
it's a sticky situation, you have a
How
loan,
long is that good for?
120 days.
What?
The same
It's
as
a
any
full
underwriting.
approval.
Now, they're gonna
appointment.
also do a verification of employment.
So
At
it'll
the
have the
end,
They
and all that
always
conditions.
do that the day of
Right.
closing or a few days before. They have like 10 days to go ahead and verify the employee. But it's usually the
Right,
day of.
but
yeah.
But your credit's been reviewed, the
Your
income's
income,
been verified,
your assets
based
been
on the
verified.
information you have. Any of those
That's
things that
crazy.
could pop up that the buyer forgot to tell you, those
Yeah.
kinds of things, like all the skeletons are out like within the day that you get.
Wow.
And the conditions are property address, appraisal, insurance, and
Verification
title,
include-
because those are the
yeah.
4 things we can, and maybe it says verification of employment or one additional bank statement because the buyer didn't give it, but like you could send that to the listing agent and this is the legit
And
item.
it
you need
says
to
full
close.
commitment letter. It's not pre-approval, it's not pre-qual, which everybody gets confused about those terminologies, but it's.
Frank's
loan
very aware of
commitment.
what those are. I know
Yeah.
he is.
So it's pretty
That's awesome.
exciting.
That's really cool. That's really
And
cool.
then interest rates right now, they've been hovering in that low 3, high 2 range for quite some time. I mean, really, for a really long time. However, if we start to see there's going to be upward pressure on interest rates over the next year, there's an opportunity to lock and shop. So the borrower can lock while they're shopping for their home and it's locked on a TBD address. And I think that's pretty amazing, to do. And
Yeah.
it's
And
something
the
that we
locks
can
can be
offer.
as
Different
long-
programs, different lock days, different programs, different
Yeah.
number
Right.
of days to lock.
Oh, and one last little tidbit. I know we keep sprinkling it on. We're like,
Yes.
I
add
like
this,
it.
add
We're like,
this.
I like it.
One thing that was, it sounds so simple, but it blew my mind is, and it can help, it's on refinances as well, but on purchases too. But there's something called flex term. So when you refinance, many times, if you've been in that house for 3 years, you have to refinance back to a 30-year. But you can pick any amount of years. So if you've paid 3 years on the mortgage, or let's say that buyer doesn't like the payment at a 15-year, they're buying a house, but they don't want to go to a 20-year. We can literally do a 17-year. So like it can be, it's like pimp my ride, but like pimp my loan. Like we can get whatever you want, where you want it. We have so
Yeah.
many options. And I'm like, that's an honest, statement.
cool,
There's so
yeah.
much customization.
And there's exact rate, which I actually never knew, because like I said, I've been in the
Okay.
retail mortgage side for so long, and then I come over to brokerage, and I always wondered how someone's like, I got a 2.90132. What? I'm like, how is that even possible? Well, now we do have exact rate, which is pretty cool, because say someone's out there and they got a 3% with someone, but we can offer 2.89.
Right.
We're lower and we're providing the service that we guarantee to give you guys. But I'm just saying, like, the exact rate is kind of cool now, how we can price loans and we don't have to be at 8s like every other bank,
That's cool.
which is,
Mhm.
every little bit helps. And
For
everybody
us,
likes
it's
to
kind
see
of
it
like,
too,
wow,
instead of
something
3.
new. Wow, something new.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good decision.
And
It's
there's
great.
more, and there's more. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, I thank you guys for coming in. I'm really happy to have you guys in the fold. I actually think that it makes Roundtable a better brokerage, having you guys as a preferred lender. And I think that you guys will win a lot of the business of our clients and wonderful agents like Frank.
Yes, Frank,
And,
come and take you to lunch, buddy. We're getting.
I
this going.
I was gonna say, I've worked with each one of you and have good experiences with each one of you. I just don't know who's gonna be my first again.
There you go.
Well, listen, we support each other. We love
Yeah.
each other, and there's no competition between the 3 of us. We're happy to serve you in any which way. And I think that whichever person that you feel can deliver in the manner that you want to,
Well,
then
and with
that's
different
Pick the
buyers,
funniest
too.
one, Frank.
Yeah.
Pick the funniest one.
well, that'll be Delaney. I know.
Oh, you guys think I'm funny? I don't think I'm funny.
Yes, you are.
Thank
You're so
you.
funny.
Aw.
Now that's
I'm the
funny.
least funniest of the 3, but I'm very professional. I see what you want.
It's the type of buyer, you might have a buyer who's like really tech, like I do a lot of videos, I do video estimates, I do all of that stuff. So if it's a younger buyer, like
I cry with you.
she'll cry with you and she'll get the
I learned from Delaney.
So like
Yeah.
you have us all as an option, and I feel like we all can kind of
It's
help.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So she'll definitely cry with you, Frank.
All right, so
I will.
what would be the best way for my family of agents to reach you guys? Call you, send you an email?
Yeah, call or email. We've left text or
Nice little
baggies
baggies
here if you
yeah.
stop by the office.
Okay, bags for everyone, but I'm gonna have you say, go ahead and say your phone and email.
Oh,
and-
see, he picked me first.
Okay.
All right, 904-557-5733, and it's dtarzia@firstcoastmtg.com.
And that's TARZIA.
TARZIA.
Yeah.
See, he wants to make sure you
Tarzia.
guys got
We can-
that, my info right.
Send you all of ours and put it on the break thing.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
what I was gonna suggest.
they're
Very
gonna still
good.
say-
Okay.
So what say yours?
And then me, 904-607-7187, and it's A Solari, SOLARI, had to think about it, at firstcoastmtg.com.
And I had to think about it's not in that email address. Go ahead.
Hello, my phone is.
Hello, see, honey.
Hello, 904-571-1278, and my email is dbravo, like bravo, at firstcoastmtg.com.
There you go, you guys.
There you go.
Thank you
Thanks
so much for
having
coming.
us.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
You're still Delaney Jones on my.